Toby Martin from Youth Group. Welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you. Thanks.
You've got a brand new album coming out on Friday, October 31, called Big Whoop. It's the band's sixth album. Was it like everyone else and started before or during COVID?
Um, yeah, when did it start? Yeah, kind of at the end of COVID, I think. So let me try and think the timeline. So our previous record, Australian Halloween, came out in 2019, and we just managed to squeeze our own tour in before COVID, and then 2020, we had a whole lot of stuff planned for touring and festivals for Australian Halloween, and of course, like everyone else, that got scuppered. Um, yeah, then we obviously didn't do much. And then in 2022, Danny, our drummer, lives in America, but he was back in Australia. I think we had a gig. Yeah, that's right. One of the rescheduled shows got moved, and we eventually played in 2022. And then I thought, while he's back, we should try and record another record. So that's when we started, and then we've just been chipping away at it for the last couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you approach the album in the same manner you approached all the other albums, or was there any difference?
Um, it's always different. Yeah, I mean, we worked with Wayne Connolly, who we have worked with on four of our other albums. So he's been our longtime friend and producer. But Wayne is great because we love working with him, and he's familiar, but he also pushes us in, helps to push us in different directions. So this record is it's more dance kind of electronic. I mean, it's not crazy like that, but there's more of that going on. There's like more program drums and synths and the kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the a new flavor for us on the record. Yeah, so it was good to try something new. I mean, it's still got a familiar for those who know the band. It's still got a pretty familiar youth group kind of like guitar bass sound, but yeah, we're pushing it in a different direction now.
Certainly, the track Siberia has got that dancey feel. Was that song always going to be that way?
Well, Siberia is an interesting one. Siberia has a very long history because I wrote it with a friend of mine who's the artist name is Ming, DJ Ming. He's a New York-based electronic dance musician. So we wrote a whole lot of songs together, which we never ever released. And Siberia is one of them. So yeah, Siberia has always, even before it got to youth group, it was like a dance track. I guess it was always going to have a bit of that flavor. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Why did you write a song for Kim Deal?
Oh, well, she's one of my musical heroes. Like if sometimes people ask you that, and it's like Kim Deal's always the first person that comes into my head. Like the Breeders were a very big deal. Sorry, excuse the pun. For me, um, like they're one of the bands that really I heard them in about year 12 at school, I think. Around year 12, and they really got me to a whole different place with music. Like before that, I was listening to I don't know, like classic rock radio stuff. Like, and that was very, it was the first time I'd ever heard, probably the first time I'd ever heard like feedback. The beginning of Cannonball, there's just like a squall of guitar feedback, and just completely fell in love with them. I saw them at the Big Day Out in 1994, I think, must have been. Um, yeah, and then I've just loved all their stuff, the amps and solo record, and of course the Pixies as well. But and so yeah, so it's kind of like I just think she's an amazing musician and sound artist. But I guess the song was also a little bit about that feeling of like, she's just from an ordinary American town, Dayton, Ohio, growing up in Canberra, which felt very much like miles from nowhere in the 90s. I mean, even though it was 3 hours from Sydney, it just felt like nothing happened in Canberra. You had to make your own fun. And more recently, I was just thinking, oh, that's interesting, how music can come from those places and like connect people. Like, you don't have to be just living in New York, London to like for music to make good music and connect with other people. It can come from other places. So yeah, it's kind of about that. So yeah, that song also became just about growing up in Canberra
Yeah.
as well.
Interesting that you mentioned the feedback at the start of the song. I love the guitar tone that starts the album on the track. I don't want to go into it.
Yeah,
Is the opening chords, the opening sound of an album, how important is that to you?
yeah, it's very important. I love the openings of records. Like the first ones I think of is like Crooked Rain by Pavement when you hear like the guitar jack just getting plugged in and sort of falling out and getting plugged in again. That's always been my like one of my favorites. And yeah, we do think carefully about how how the record's going to start. I think the reason we chose I don't want to go into it as the album title. Um, partly because it's kind of funny, right? Having a title called "I Don't Want to Go Into It" as the first title of a record is kind of amusing to me because it's like, it's like don't want to tell you anything. That's the first thing I want to say. But also because that song seems to combine quite well our kind of more for us traditional guitar stuff with a little bit more of this. There's quite a few set of sampled drums and stuff in that song, so it was like an interesting mishmash of the various different styles we are exploring. So there's like Siberia is like sort of more straight up dance, and there's other songs which are more straight up sort of just rock bands. So, but that was a good combination of the two. So it was like that seemed like a good introduction to the music we were exploring on the record.
Yeah, that's the first track, but the actual title of the album is Big Whoop. Um, why did you choose that title, and what were some of the rejected titles?
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm really enjoying hearing people say it, like you and other people I've done interviews with. It's like you come up with like a title, and then all of a sudden everyone says it. It's really great. Yeah, it's just that once again, appeals to our sense of humor. I think it's just like a very funny Australianism. Another one which I was thinking of calling it was a bit of shush. It's another nice like what teachers say their class in Australia like that like amusing Australianisms. They were really the only two um that we came close to coming up with, and a few friends have said, you're really calling it Big Whoop. It's like it seems like you're setting yourself up for like big deal. New records out, but anyway, we've stuck to it. We've had it like even though we're not definitely, our sense of humor as a band kind of comes and goes, and I don't think people ever think of us as being funny as a band. But a lot of our album titles and stuff like are quite like Urban and Eastern, Casino Twilight Dogs, which is the name, the Greyhound dog racing and so there's always like I feel like there is a bit of humor, and I mean the band name Youth Group. I mean like it's supposed to be funny. Like I don't know if anyone ever thought how tongue in cheek it is. So anyway, yeah.
I see you went to great expense to film the clip for Saturday Dad.
Yeah, we got some of Hollywood's finest film directors, Michel Gondry actually, make that clip for us, and so yeah, really, really paid off. Yeah,
The track when I was, or when I was, is a bit of a journey through. I imagine it's your life, or or the
yeah, pretty
yeah.
much, yeah.
If you ran into, say, your 10-year-old self, what advice would you give him?
I'd say you're never going to be in the Australian cricket team, so but that's fine. Just enjoy your fantasy for a while. I don't know. I don't think I'd give any advice really. I think that being 10 is a time for just living in a beautiful world of your own fantasies. And I don't think I don't want to spoil that particularly. But yeah, I mean, I came late-ish to music. Um, like I didn't, I mean, my parents liked music, but I didn't live in a particularly musical household. Neither of them played an instrument. I mean, they listened to the records, but like I kind of, it was for me, it was around like 15, that kind of age, where I had a friend who taught me some guitar, like some basic stuff on guitar, and I kind of went from there. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd want to change that in a way. Yeah, that one I thought I'd start earlier.
Yeah. In 2006, you were on the cover of
Oh yeah,
a magazine with Josh.
yeah.
Uh,
I've still got that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
Christine one still in plastic.
that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I've got a copy too. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was an issue about songwriting. And in that, you said, when I first started writing songs, I was really into Billy Bragg, who's a very literal songwriter. But more recently, I've been interested in doing something that's instinctual and on paper might not be the cleverest lyric, but there's
yeah.
something in the words and the way they fit the music that makes you feel something.
Yeah.
Do you still relate to that?
Um, yeah, I think when I when I listened back to songs I wrote when I was starting off, like in my Billy Bragg phase, I definitely hear someone who is probably trying to cram too many words in and trying a bit too hard to be clever with like wordplay and rhyming and all that kind of stuff. And I think that when I listen to the music I've made over the last couple of decades, it's like I think what's happened is the lyrics have gotten simpler. Well, just, well, not simpler. I mean, there's less of them. They kind of do. They hopefully they do a bit more with less. And I think the music has gotten kind of richer behind it. Um, so yeah, I think I do. I mean, I although I think what's happened probably has happened since that last Australian musician interview, um, is that I think I I think I've gotten a bit maybe I've gotten back into the Billy Bragg style of like I think sorry so when that interview was done that was probably around Skeleton Jar kind of time. I mean I was very much about emotional kind of catharsis probably like the songs are probably mostly about me and various angsts I was going through. But now I think I've it's like the songs I write now are usually about other people, or at least they're partly about other people and they're partly character based. So I've sort of maybe gone to a new phase now as well, a little less about um sort of being openly poetic and maybe a bit more about okay, there's a story about someone that I'm gonna tell.
Yeah. Um, Guitar wise, what did you use in the studio for this album?
Um, I think I've just used my trusty Fender Telecaster Deluxe, which I have, which I got when I was about like 19, and I've pretty much just been my guitar ever since. Well, it's become my youth group guitar. Yeah, I reckon I use pretty much entirely that guitar. Yeah, yep.
What's the guitar that sits by the couch for when a songwriting idea strikes?
Oh, I yeah. Well, I've got a few here actually. Um, this is my uh, this is this is my trusty. This is another guitar I've had for ages, which is my Fender Newporter acoustic, which is always nice to play. I mean, I feel maybe I've gotten every single song I can out of it now. The guitar I have at home, which is like the one that's on the couch, is actually a really like interesting guitar. It's a I mean, I'm not a big guitar guy, but I kind of pick up random ones sometimes. And I was in Berlin last year. I did a I did a I did a songwriting residency. I mean, I created my own residency. I just went to Berlin for a month to write. And I kind of like when I'm starting a new project, I kind of like to get a new instrument or a new tuning or something like that. So I didn't sorry, I should mute this message. I'm going off. So I didn't bring a guitar with me because I was like, I'll get something when I'm there. That'll be part of the process. And so I bought a parlor guitar. It's called a Framus, Framus,
Yep.
which were like a West German guitar company that started like just after the war. So yeah, it's like an old one. It's like 60s, but it's really small, and the strings are like they're not nylon or steel. They're kind of this sort of silky string thing. Anyway, so it was really cool. I'm quite cheap. It was like a couple of €100. It was like not crazy, and um, yeah, it was great. I wrote everything on it. So that's and now it's still just sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
nice.
so as well as the album coming out, you're hitting the road and doing some shows. Uh,
Yeah.
has it been a tricky album to replicate live?
Yeah. We've got Danny who plays drums has got these cool samples and stuff which he triggers, which we've never done before. So that's yeah. I mean, but we had a bit of a test run. We did a little mini tour with the Underground Lovers last year, just when Siberia came out. So we have done this. We've used this like sample stuff now. So yeah, but it is a little bit of a new territory for us. Yeah, using that stuff. So yeah.
Which of the new tracks are you enjoying playing live?
I do. Well, we haven't played. I don't want to go into it live yet, but I am looking forward to that one, which we're going to hopefully play on this tour. Um, I like playing the Lodge as well. It's like a different sort of sound for us, very repetitive and driving and sonic, and yeah, I like that. I have also enjoyed playing Don't Turn Your Back on the Moon, which is kind of a long song with lots of words. I've done that acoustic a few times, just my own shows. We might give that a go if we think people have got the attention and stamina to sit through 7 minutes of quite a long song. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so the after this tour, what does the future hold for youth group going forward?
Well, next year is the 20th anniversary of Forever Young, the release of our recording of Forever Young. So we've got some things planned for that, which I can't divulge too much, but but yeah, we're gonna do some shows around May, June next year for the anniversary of that. So yeah, that's the next plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Big Whoop is out Friday, October 31. All the best with it, and been great to catch up.
Thanks, Greg. I appreciate you having me on.